Show.
Aloha, everybody, and welcome to The Joystick Show, a podcast where three friends from high school in Hawaii get together to chat about the latest things we've watched, read, and played. Tonight, we have a very special guest. Very honored to have him on the show. I'm glad to call him a friend. We have James Royce Edwards, better known as San Diego Thor. James, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Aloha, dude. Yeah, I just
Hey,
learned that you're from
aloha, my
Hawaii,
man.
so we were just talking about that. How it's one of my favorite places. Happy to be here. Happy to just finally be on the show. I know we've talked about it a bunch before, but what you're doing is super cool, and
Oh, man.
yeah, happy to be here, man.
Dude, what you're doing is super cool. Like, it's like, I see you at all the cons. You're always in some type of interview, or like people are like pulling you off the side to take a picture. Like, you're Thor. You're the third Hemsworth brother. I mean, you're Chris Hemsworth, third brother, for sure.
Dude, I feel like I should have the wig on because it like sells, it's about 99% wig. And then of course my Thor voice when we use it.
Oh,
But like yeah, it's mainly the wig I think that sells it. And then I try to flex a lot, but I appreciate your
I was gonna
kind words.
say, yeah, I was like, I think it's the guns that might sell it, but plus the spot on cosplay. I mean, that suit
Ah,
is
dude, thank you, man.
incredible.
Appreciate it.
But I do have a fun question in terms of the hair. I'm gonna shoot it over to one of our co-hosts,
Okay.
Scott. He had a question for you, and he goes, "Have you ever thought about growing out your hair to make it Thor length 100% of the time?"
Dude, every single time, I think the last time I seriously considered that was when the Lord of the Rings trilogy came out. And I'm like, I gotta be Aragon. And then I tried and I just like greasy and just like my hair is just too fine. I couldn't pull it off. But dude, if
Okay.
I could pull it off, like 100%, I would do that. I would invest in the product. I would just like get as, Thor pretty as I possibly could because I love the look, but no, man, I just can't pull it off.
I
So
mean,
it's
you're
kind of
pretty
like
close.
top down.
Your hair's already fantastic. I don't think
Ah,
you should
shut
mess with
up, man.
success, but like
Dude, you're too kind, man. Thank you.
the wig you
But
rock to
yes,
is
absolutely. If I
fantastic.
could rock it, if I could, like, if God blessed me with that, I would totally rock it. But
Definitely.
alas,
Hey, you got the arms and everything else, man. Like I think you're
thanks, man.
solid.
I feel like I should move back in frame or something. Okay, yeah, I'm just kidding.
Stop! I don't want to break my camera. Um, all right, but so I got a little bit of a fun question to kind of kick things off, because we were
Okay,
talking
man.
about our dogs before we started. But
Hmm.
you have one of the most adorable Frenchies I've ever seen. His name is Stitch. If he could be any superhero, who would he be?
Dude, I think like okay, because I've actually, of course, seriously considered this, like with personality and of course what he looks like. So personality wise, I would think Loki because he's like the god of mischief, and then it would go
Okay.
along really great. I don't know if you remember the fine film John Carter of Mars, but
Yeah.
he looks and acts so much like Woola from that. He just is missing a couple legs. He sounds exactly like Appa from the Airbender, like his like grunts and groans and stuff. So that's a viable option too. But then I think also like he would fit really, even though he's not full bulldog, he's like French bulldog, not English bulldog. He'd be a really good lockjaw from Immortals,
Yeah.
right? Immortals, yeah. So I think
Yeah,
any of those
Inhumans.
Inhumans. What am I saying? Immortals. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Inhumans.
yeah, yeah.
So
Nobody
yeah, I've
knows them anyway.
contemplated
They
all of
suck. It's
those.
fine.
Dude, if you were to whisper your name, you'd be in trouble right now.
There you go. If Black
Um,
Bolt heard me, it's game
Black Bullet
over.
just it's over, man. So yeah, any of those. He actually does have a Loki costume that stayed on for approximately like 5 seconds before he tried to eat it. Um,
Oh, I'm familiar
so
with
that's going
that.
to be a constant battle with him. But um, I think, and I actually did order uh, an Appa plush toy to kind of essentially skin,
Yeah,
not to get disgusting, but to kind of wear like a little coat I could put it on his harness, so he could wear that around. But
that's
that's
awesome.
probably who I would go with.
Dang. All right, we got a lot there.
Sorry, I thought about
Ula,
that way
Appa,
more than you
Loki.
thought I would have thought about. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dang, he had like receipts here. He had thought about it. He had a bunch of
It's
different. You
like
had
one of
all
those
the
memes. It's like
personalities.
where the husband and wife are in bed together, and she's like, "Oh, he's probably thinking about other women," and I'm literally just going like, "I wonder what superhero he would be," for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We're gonna dress Stitch up like tomorrow, and everything through that. That's awesome.
I can't, man.
All right, so you obviously have like an amazing Thor cosplay. Um, how do you go about creating it? How did you get it all together? I mean, it's just so spot on. Have you made it? Did you find somebody who makes it? Like, how did you put it
Yeah, it's
together?
kind of a work in progress. You know how it all starts. Like, I think that's honestly why I'm wearing this cheesy like Halloween store, complete with cape,
There you go.
Thor shirt, because like I had to my wife wasn't necessarily a nerd, and I kind of had to kind of indoctrinate her. And so the first Comic
I
Con
know
we
how
ever
that
went
feels.
to, yeah, we just did things kind of low key. She was kind of a low key Catwoman, and I'm just like, I put this on, and I had the wig, and then like a little tiny Mjolnir, and like some jeans and boots, and that was kind of my Thor. And then she was kind of hooked after that. Well, not after that time. The next time we went was like for special edition, the one they had in November because after COVID,
Right,
and
right.
she went as Wonder Woman and went full out, kind of like the classic version. And all these little girls came up to her and just like, "Oh my goodness, you're the real Wonder Woman!" And she was sold after that. So I'm like, now we're gonna go for it. So I
Yeah.
began to like, yeah, kind of like look at different things. I think with cosplay, it's always a matter when you're getting started and you don't have these amazing skills yet. It's kind of a combination of like, hey, what can I find on Amazon or one of those cool sites like Pro Cosplay that does a really pretty good job, and then just augment it to make it mine or make it me. So did that with a couple different of my versions of Thor, and then this last incarnation is totally original, and I worked with my bud Matt Mullis, and I was just kind of doing some background stuff, but it's kind of this
Yeah, let's
armor
see
that
it.
he worked with me,
Is
out of
that
foam, and
the
then I
Infinity War?
tweaked.
Is that the Infinity War armor?
It is a base of that, but it's kind of its own version. After
Oh,
that,
nice.
just with the paint and everything, so everything from that was just kind of made from scratch with like foam, a lot of foam and a lot of elastic and Velcro, to be honest. But finding unique ways to like, hey, I'm going to take these boots and actually just use these old volleyball knee pads I have, and
Right.
attach this front of this shin guard uh, to it to slip it on and off, so I can use any kind of boots. You just and of course, watching tons of YouTube videos, because so many people out there are like so skilled, and it's
Oh
easy to get
man.
intimidated,
Yeah.
but they share their knowledge. And so I'm having fun learning about working with different materials and investing in like heat guns and all different
Yeah.
kinds of things, just kind of put your own spin on it. And yeah, my next goal is to kind of do a mainly original version, but I always wanted to do the original Avengers version of Thor. I just like that look and the color
Yeah.
scheme, and you can't buy a base of it anywhere. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to work with foam and leather, and just kind of create my own version of that. But like I
Wow.
said, 90% the wig, and once you got that going
Yeah.
and it looks
Yeah,
all right, you're
yeah.
good to go.
Below
But
the
then
base layer is very Thor-like too, so I think that helps out. So
dude,
so
thank you.
yeah, how did you get
But
into it? Like, give us your pop culture origin. Like, when did you start? What's up, Stitch?
what's
What's
up,
up,
buddy?
buddy? He's
He
just
couldn't
joined
take it
us.
anymore. He just
Nice. We got
joined
a
us.
guest star coming in here. But what is your origin? Like, where do you start with pop culture? How do you get into the comic book side of it at all? Like,
Yeah,
did you grow up with this stuff? Did you read comic books?
totally.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
did it start?
So, man, I think it all really, 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 truly started with Star Wars. A New Hope, and I don't want to date myself like too much, but I'm old, and I saw that sucker in the movie theaters with my
That's awesome.
parents multiple times. And it just became my obsession, like so much. Like anytime I could watch it, I remember when like they finally got it on, I don't know if it
VHS.
was VHS, but we also had like like an old school record of it that would just play the John Williams music and stuff. And I remember sitting on my porch outside my mom's house, and just with my Fisher Price cassette recorder, Google that, kids, um, I would just sit down and just like press play, record, and I recorded like a 45-minute version complete with all the sound effects I could think of me just doing one take of the entire movie that I
Mhm.
possibly could. So I was kind of obsessed with that. And yeah, man, I mean, my dad had a huge love for Superman and he passed that on to me. So I saw all the old school Super Friends cartoons and I love
Nice.
them. My dad also got us, I have two older brothers and we all had our own subscription. Like this back when they do like comic book subscriptions, they come once a week.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
got the Hulk and my other brother got Spider-Man and my oldest brother got the Fantastic Four. And we would just, exchange that
Trade and yeah,
between
yeah.
each
I'm
other.
surprised you didn't get
And
Thor, but yeah.
dude, I loved it all. And then, yeah, when the different, but since then it's been my jam, like sci-fi fantasy, like, uh, yeah, I love it, but that's probably how it all started, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've said numerous times on the show, for me, it was X-Men 97, or well,
Dude,
before it was X-Men 97, it was X-Men the
I
animated
know,
series.
exactly. And I used to sit down at the table. This is way after '97 because my kiddo was born in like 2007.
Hmm.
But I'm like, okay, got to teach him right. So we
Yeah.
had to, after watching all the Star Wars films multiple times, we would watch that at breakfast. Just like
Oh
the
man,
original X-Men cartoon from the '90s. And then we
so good.
recently got to go to that fan event premiere for X-Men '97
I saw.
together. We went as different versions of Wolverine, and so I'm right there with you, man. That was awesome. I loved
It
it.
was. How was
I'll jam
the
with you about that show anytime.
Dude, I would love to. You got to come on the show another
Heck
time, and
yeah, dude.
we're reviewing week to week, so come on down. We definitely got to
Heck
chat
yeah,
about
man.
it. But yeah, I saw. I mean, you had the classic yellow and blue suit. Your son, I think, had like the Logan suit from Logan Origin with the bone claws. One of my favorite
Yeah.
Wolverine. I mean, that was so sick. How was the event? Just we're going off a little off track here, but like, how was the event overall? I mean, it was at it's that
It was
place
at the El Cap
in at El
in
Cap.
Hollywood, the El Capitan Theater.
Yep.
Um, okay, so the event overall was awesome. Like I've been to some before where they kind of closed off the street in front and done a lot of like, uh, like photo ops and stuff, which was also super cool.
Hmm.
But this was all inside, and they had some fun little things and some, backdrops that you could take some photos of. And we did some interviews for D23, and that was really fun to do with my kid. But hands down, dude, like watching this with people who are just true fans, and of course the creatives were all there and the
Yeah.
cast and stuff. But watching this with people who actually cared about it was so flippin' fun. Like we were just yelling like during the whole thing. So
And there's
I
so
don't
many moments
that's
to
hard
yell
to
at.
beat. Yeah, it was hard to beat. We got to see the first three episodes and we were just like, yeah, we were just screaming. So that was a lot of fun. The event
That's
was it was very cool
I am so
in that
jealous,
regard.
man. I love. I've watched all the animated series from like start to finish at least 5 times. I watched in preparation for this
Hmm.
season, and I'm like, what they did with this new version. Oh my god, just
Yeah,
knocked out of the park.
I
So
agree.
good.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of the continuation idea instead of like a reboot. Excellent. Very cool.
Totally. So, okay, you have this amazing origin. Star Wars kicks it off for you. When do you start getting into cosplay and all that? Because
Dude.
I'm sure you dressed up for Halloween and all these things. In the adult life, when do you get into that?
Okay, so I never stopped kind of dressing up. I don't know if you know this, but my entire adult life, since I was like 19, I was a professional stage actor. So I was performing either in New York or, regionally or on tour for like 20 plus years. So
Wow.
it was just my career to dress up. And I did, tons of Disney musicals, either pre-Broadway or right before they went to Broadway. And
That's awesome.
so I never got to grow out of that whole thing. But COVID happened, and kind of a necessary at that time career change kind of happened because everybody else on Broadway was like, either going back home and living with their parents or just kind of like waiting it out and losing all their savings. So I started to do a muggle job here in San Diego, which turned out to be a huge blessing. But my wife and I were both like kind of in this place where we were just like, we need to do something to kind of give back and do some charity stuff. uh, and just in a fun way. So at the Comic Con special edition, like we'd already gone, like I said before, to the other Comic Con and dressed up a little bit. But when we saw this group called the Sci-Fi Coalition and how they were doing charity work with the
Yeah.
cosplay and visiting the hospitals, and that just sounded like super cool. I did I worked with a TV show called Lazy Town for 7 years. I played this character called Sporticus, and then I also produced all the live events for 7 years. So I worked with the American Heart Association
Oh man, that's
mainly,
awesome.
and it was just the coolest thing in the world to go to the hospitals and visit schools and put on shows and just to reach out and do that. So I think that was kind of the main impetus for like seriously getting into the cosplay, and it's still my favorite thing to do. Um, but that's kind of how it became a family thing, I guess, all around.
Yeah.
Um, and now, yeah, here we are, just like investing our time and money, and but mainly just our time when we can, just doing these events and stuff. And it's
Totally.
yeah, it's been fun and worth it. And
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know,
beautiful.
sometimes, yeah, as you I don't know, as you get older, you're also like you forget to like put in like exercise your creative abilities, I think. And it's like, oh, I can learn this new skill. I don't know anything about this, but I'm gonna start learning about this. And it's just been, yeah, it's been a cool thing that have been fun to dive into.
Man, that's so impressive. And like what a great place. I mean, there's in the attention grabbing world these days, and not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you're coming at this from such a selfless place, a place of
Oh,
giving back. And dude, that's just wonderful, man. I not only do you look just like Thor, but you also like are making kids happy. I've seen like you did a Barbie event where they had
it was so fun.
some I don't know what the situation was for the kids, but I know that was some type
Yeah.
of fundraiser situation. I've seen you take pictures outside of hospitals and stuff. What was that Barbie thing like, and
Yeah,
what's some of the
that
other
was
organizations?
man, like there's been a lot of different organizations, but there's a doctor here named Dr. Justin Wu, and him and his wife Bernie. I think they work for Kaiser primarily, but they started their own organization called Healing Little Heroes. And man, the work, I mean, it's just I just life goals as far
Yeah.
as like what to do with your time on this earth. And he just created this event. That was one of many events. I mean, he must do like 50 of them a year, like every week.
Wow.
But that was just pretty much for all the kids who had been like in the ICU at one point and their families. And like it was
Oh
just a
man.
Barbie day. And he'd done like a Christmas day, like I think either right before or after that, where every kid got multiple presents and got to see Santa, and we all did Christmas versions of the superheroes. And that Barbie event was, kind of a similar deal. Everybody had like presents and got to spend time. He has all these amazing vehicles like the Barbie Corvette and the Barbie Jeep, and like
I was gonna say,
oh,
did
it's
did
just
they
amazing,
wrap it
man.
for that event,
No,
or
no, those are
that's
those
was
are
like
their full time.
24/7?
Man, he has Transformers, he has Batmobiles, he has like the cars from Cars. It's like it's
Wow.
insane. And he
Pays to be the
and they
doctor.
man. Well, yeah,
No, no,
I'm
he
just blown
deserves it. He
away.
deserves it. But that's
No, no, no,
amazing
but
too.
for
Yeah.
real, but like, yeah, he and their son and they just, yeah, that's what they spend their time and energy doing. And he loves to cosplay too, and he just has all these amazing cosplays that he does, and you know just invites as many cosplayers that are allowed at different events. But that was a big one where everybody had a some kind of Barbie themed. I was Thor, Odin, Ken, and my son was
I s-
sporty Ken, and then my wife
yeah.
was classic airline stewardess Barbie
Yeah,
for
you
that
guys
one.
looked great. And like the
Oh, thanks, man.
creativity of combining Thor, it was like the Thor Love and Thunder, but in the beginning of the movie with all the pink and stuff, it looked pretty cool. I was like, man, they should have maybe just done that for the movie. It looks pretty sick. But yeah, what a cool event, and man, what a cool story. Like, it's that kind of stuff where I think for the people who may not understand fully what cosplay is about,
Yeah,
they think it's I don't know. For some people, it could be on the fringe. Maybe they could see it as a little weird. It's like,
who
man, there's so
knows,
many
man? I
great
don't know.
Right, but there's so many great
Yeah,
elements about it, and where you're coming from it, I think those stories need to be shared more, and more of that needs to be talked about. But it's so cool. Like, and I was talking to a company called Critical Care Comics,
hmm.
and they're based
Oh
in
yeah, yeah,
Vegas. Super awesome. They went to
yeah,
a hospital that I was in for a long time, and they go there dressed like heroes, and they go to visit the kids in the ICU. But I see some of those pictures, and those kids are so happy to see them
yeah,
because
yeah,
they just want to get out of their situation for a little bit. They want to have hope again, and that's what
yeah.
it does. And it's just like
And
you're doing it.
thanks, man. And it's not, it's like some of the things you don't even realize because it's not just the kids that are there. It's like their families that have to be there every day, and the younger brothers and sisters that have to come every single day, and they don't. So we
Yeah,
do work
yeah.
with the Ronald McDonald House as well,
Wow.
and that's just literally like across the street from the hospital, and like, yeah, we just get to hang out and have lunch and just play around for a few hours, and just giving
Totally.
back like that is one of those things where you're like, okay, this actually blesses me just as much as I can possibly be bringing joy to somebody else. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get like too personal. If this is too much, you can tell me,
No,
yeah,
man,
I don't.
anything. I'm
But
yeah, open
but
book.
I'm like, is there anything, a kid or somebody in one of these situations told you that really sticks out to you that you're like, man, I'm always gonna remember that, or a moment that just you think about sometimes and you're like, wow, I can't, like that was such a special moment.
That usually doesn't come so much from the kid.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm
Dude,
sorry we went there,
sorry.
man.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I'm a big crybaby. Ever since I became a dad, I'm just like a mess. Yeah, that usually
Understandable.
comes from the those usually comes from the parents, like that, you know, they'll say, like, there was this little guy, like, who the heck knew, right? At
Yeah,
this Barbie event, like that came dressed as the Hulk. And he's just this little guy, and like,
yeah.
um, he just randomly came as the Hulk, and I was randomly there dressed as Thor when it comes to like um a Barbie day. Who knew? But we took a
Mhm.
lot of time together. We made sure that he was worthy, and we just told
Yeah,
everybody that we were friends from work and stuff.
yeah.
And his
Which,
parents came to me.
yeah, not to cut you
Yeah,
out, but you put it on your Instagram, right?
yeah, yeah.
That
I think that
moment,
one's on there.
dude.
Just that little
Okay,
video. It's
we're
just
gonna
so
link to it in
cute.
the show notes. We're gonna make sure
Okay,
people go check out that video.
cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but just little moments like that, and then their parents just tell him that like he was so afraid to come to this, and or that he'd been in. Man, this one birthday party, like there was this little guy who had never had a birthday. There's an event that Dr. Wu like organized, and
yeah,
he was very shy, and he never had a birthday. It was his first birthday party, and here it was with all these cosplayers, and he had a lot of things going on with him, and he was having difficulty connecting. But like just random little things where I had this little keychain that's like a fidget spinner, but it's a Mjolnir,
oh,
and like I don't
nice.
know what it was, but of all the things, he was just like very worried. He was crying a lot, but like when he was able to grab that and just like I gave it to him and I just let him spin it and showed him how it worked. It's just like
Yeah,
it just changed everything. And from that moment on, it just he was so much more comfortable and things clicked. And then the parents just expressed like how grateful they were. So yeah, I mean,
yeah,
there's so many moments to talk about. Like, uh, but those are two fun ones that are like favorites recently, I guess.
man. That's incredible, dude. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like,
No, sorry, man. I get,
no,
yeah,
no.
I'm a mess.
No, but it's special, right? Like or you're definitely seeing somebody and you're bringing them joy. I mean, ultimately, that's the whole point of this show is to talk about the things we
Yeah,
love,
yeah.
spread joy, have fun, joke around, like that. That's it,
Okay.
And we don't always get enough of that in this world. So I appreciate that you're bringing it to people, but also like you're sharing it here, and thank you, man. I really,
Of
really,
course,
truly
dude. Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm gonna try to change it up a little bit, so.
Okay.
I
Let,
I don't want you to, hopefully you're fine sharing your
let's
emotions, which I 100% appreciate, but I want to get silly too.
let's get
And
silly, man.
yeah. So, I got some other random questions I'm
All
just
right,
going to throw at you here.
let's do it.
All right. I think I know the answer already.
Okay.
Give me your top 3 MCU properties and maybe one like honorable mention.
Just as far as like Okay.
You can.
As far as
Oh,
my
how about
favorite
this?
films or
You can
like,
only pick one Thor thing as well.
well, yeah. Okay. So I think overall, my favorite like arc and storyline probably is the Guardians. I think just like as a whole. Well, no, what am I saying, man? Like, okay, the this is such a hard thing to
It's
do,
hard. It's a
but
hard.
definitely
I know. Threw
the
a zinger after zinger
masterfulness
here.
with which they did all of the Avengers film
Mm-hmm.
leading to Endgame is just what they did with that whole universe from like essentially scratch with that whole vision is just like unbelievable. So Avengers Endgame with is just yeah, just the best. I mean, I will watch the last 30 minutes of that movie again and again and again.
On repeat.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's so good. Um,
Like if you
and
want to
then I
get
think
amped, like you could just put that on and you're like, it's go time. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. I bet you hit whole new PRs after watching that. Like it's
we
that
do. We
that
have
gets
our
me amped.
Avengers playlist that we do all the time.
Sick.
Um, man, I yeah, that's it's so hard to say. I mean, I really love the Guardians arc that they did with all of those characters. I think that was extremely well done. Um, man, it's hard to think of ones that I didn't care for so much, except for yeah, Immortals, not so much.
Immortal? Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is fair. It
uh,
was fair.
it
And
wasn't
it's not
wasn't
very
my
well liked
favorite
anywhere.
as yeah. I mean, yeah, and I'm really easy to please, but yeah, I mean, I think you know. The whole Spider-Man series that they've done has
Totally.
just been brilliant. I think
Yeah. The home
as a
trilogies.
yeah, those have just been amazing.
Mhm.
I love everything they've done with the original characters of like the OG crew. But then oh man, it's just too many because like
Totally. How about
yeah, like
this?
that first Black Panther film was just like on one of my
On
favorite films, like
Gosh, yeah, man.
unbelievable. Like
I remember being in that
uh
theater, walking out and just having chills. Like, what did I just watch? Like,
yeah,
just the
yeah.
energy in it and the chants going on, and Chadwick coming out of that, the ship crashing and stepping up, and just being like, what? Like, come
Yeah,
on, just ready to run through a brick wall. Like, it was, yeah, that was a time for sure.
I I really enjoyed the Loki series on
Oh,
Disney Plus. I thought
hmm,
the arc they gave Loki from where he started in the MCU is kind of freaking brilliant. Like,
oh
who
my
knew
God.
that they were going to go there? I know people have been all over the place with the Thor films, and they return to seriousness with the Thor films. I personally liked all of them for what they were. I wasn't one of those people who was like, I'm going to go see Thor: Love and Thunder because from this advertising, I think it's going to be a pretty serious film. I wasn't,
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't like,
You had the right
yeah,
expectations. Like, you're
yeah.
like,
I
I
went
know
in there just
Taika.
going like, I'm going to have some fun. Granted, I think they probably should have hit cut a couple times, like cut, that's good, because
Yeah, a few
actors love to
jokes
keep having
just
fun.
kept going.
But
Yeah.
freaking Ragnarok was like, I thought just probably my favorite Thor
Oh my
film
gosh.
of
Top tier
all of them.
Marvel.
Yeah. And then just we have like just traditions now. Like instead of like, different Christmas films, we rewatch Hawkeye for every Christmas just because I
Totally.
think it's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Well, a series.
I might
Um
say something that people will disagree with, but I mean, I'll put it
that's
up
what it's
there with
about, man. Just put it up there. It's like what you love. You can't, yeah. What is
yeah,
it?
I'm gonna put it up there with Die Hard. Like I like, Die Hard for me, definitely a Christmas movie, but what you get in Hawkeye is like that but for family, and there's
Yeah, no, of the
action.
heart. Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just like it's obviously it's not as rough. It's not Bruce Willis and murder and all that. Well, I mean, there's a little murder,
A
but it's like a little bit more
little bit of
comic
murder,
accurate
murder happening
murder.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, But I love that. I watch that every Christmas as well. There's no doubt.
Cool, man. And there's always these little things that you can like after the 100th viewing, you're like, okay, I'm not exactly sure how Kate Bishop took on Kingpin by herself, but all right,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
did.
yeah.
But that's cool. Like I don't take it that deeply. Uh, but yeah, man, it's hard pressed for me to like really not like one of their things. I haven't, I got to be honest, I haven't liked as much the recent, phase stuff as far as like uh, just kind of, I
You
don't
don't
know,
have to
having the
name names.
vision.
You
I
don't have to
think
name
no, no,
names.
I don't like, but
Yeah.
I still enjoyed them. I haven't been like, I've never ridden that like critical
Right, right.
bandwagon.
Where you're
That's, oh,
like, this
that's
show
offended
sucks.
me, or
Don't watch.
that's like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? Like,
Right.
still like, yeah, no, it's just, yeah. I loved. I actually really liked. This might be controversial. I don't even know why
It shouldn't
the
be,
recent
probably.
series Echo. Like,
Dude,
sure.
yeah.
I worked with the deaf community for a while, and I, I thought the lead actor in that series. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name right now. Just
Uh
blew my mind.
Alakwa
Like,
Cox. That's what it
yeah. Oh
is.
my gosh, she just blew my mind. Like,
Yeah.
um, as just having all those characteristics, and I think that was like her first like
Yeah,
major
first
acting
ever.
role ever. Just like
Totally.
it just like blew me away. And I had a good time with it. Although the end I really thought was very similar to the end of Avatar, and we can discuss this Last Airbender, how he took down the Fire Lord. But that's
All
for another
right.
time.
That's
Anyway,
another time. I dig it, man.
I've talked about this a lot. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
have any other favorites that I missed? And I'll be like, oh, dude, how did I not say that? I mean,
Right, right. I think you covered it. I mean, like all the Avengers movies, fantastic.
these are
Ragnarok, stellar. I mean, yeah, we did Endgame. I
Black
too
Panther.
thought Echo was pretty dang good. I don't
Yeah,
didn't understand any of the criticisms online. I think they
I didn't hear them.
probably needed one more episode, but for
Yeah,
her being one of her first acting roles ever, she
but
crushed it.
even
The
for that,
fighting,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Even regardless of that, I just thought it could have stood up to anything. She was awesome.
100%, definitely. So, okay, we're gonna be wrapping up very soon. What are you looking forward to the most coming up from Marvel or any type of superhero medium?
Okay. I mean, like, obviously, I just friggin' cannot wait for Deadpool coming out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I think it's just, yeah, dude. I think it's just gonna
As I
just
point
be
to him in the
amazing.
background.
I have not even watched the full like preview since it was released because I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know who's making cameos. I just want to sit there and freaking like love it, enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
you don't want
then
to know if
I'm
Taylor Swift's in it,
I
which
hope she
that
is.
is
Knowing Ryan Reynolds, I'll bet she is in there
you,
like at some
at this
point.
point, I feel like he has to put her in there. But I was like, she's not gonna be in this movie. Like, so what if Blake Lively and her are friends? I'm like, she's not gonna be in it. She's probably gonna be in it. Let's be real
Dude,
now.
I mean Brad Pitt was in the last one.
That's true.
Yeah, that, and then just totally just excited to see whatever the heck Henry Cavill does next with whatever role he chooses to do because I'm a huge nerd fan of his.
Oh
So
my god, one of the
yeah,
best. I mean, he's a true
it's
fan. We
just
talk about it all the time.
yeah,
Like he knows the source material, so he always
totally.
comes and brings that passion and that knowledge. Like he's one of the best to
I
do
just
it for anything. You know, like, he's great.
yeah, I have my whole Witcher cosplay, but now I'm like, am I gonna wear that again now? I don't know. No, I'll do it in
You got to
homage,
do it,
of
man.
course.
So yeah, a lot of fun stuff. I'm with you on Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the thing I'm most excited about. I mean, we're covering X-Men the animated series week in and week out. Again,
Yeah, I can't
that's
wait for the next. That I loved it. I'm super excited for what comes next for sure.
definitely. Well, we're gonna have you on for like a regular
Yeah,
episode
man.
review. But before we get there, what do you have going on? What do you have coming up next? Any type of events that people can look for you at? Where can they find you? Where can they support you as well?
I super appreciate that. Just I post pretty much everything to my Instagram if I'm doing it, whether it's a charity event or a con or just having fun with friends. Because recently we did that. We just had a big Marvel photo shoot that was organized by my friend Caleb Weeks, who, we had like 4 or 5 videographers and just a ton of just amazing Marvel cosplayers. And a lot of them I just knowed online, and we got together and we just like spent about 8 hours shooting content and having fun. And I got to write a couple little like mini scripts, and we got to do that together. So I'm really looking forward to just doing that more because I miss that kind of creative outlet, because I used to write scripts for that show Lazy Town, for the live stuff that we do, and other things.
Yeah,
So looking forward to that.
dude.
And
So
that's
wait,
all my Instagram.
so I sorry to cut you off. That
No, go ahead.
video is on. It's going to be on YouTube as well, right?
No, I don't post. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure
What's
some of
what
those
was our
people.
friend Hawkeye cosplay? What is his
Trevor.
at? Yeah, I
Uh,
think he messaged me and said there's going to be a YouTube link. So, anyways, I'll try to find it. I will link it in the show notes as well. We'll make sure we throw it
yeah,
out there. But that looks so cool because I
it
follow a
was
ton of you
so
guys.
fun.
You
Yeah, it
guys are
was
like
fun.
the top of Marvel cosplayers. Everybody looks like their character and has
Thanks,
the
man.
best costumes, best cosplay. Like yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have to link to that and
Thanks,
make sure
man.
everybody checks it out because that looks sick. And it was downtown, right, at the convention
Yeah, it was
center.
just just outside Petco Park, kind of the convention center, and that bridge that kind of connects them. And so my Instagram is at San Diego underscore Thor. Um, and yeah, I post most everything I'm doing there. I have to look at my calendar, really, what like charity events are coming up, but those are usually kind of closed things. But the next big thing that I think pretty much everybody SoCal is going to, if it doesn't get completely rained out, is WonderCon coming up at the Anaheim Convention Center this weekend coming up. So
Yep, I'll see you
been working
there.
on some things. Yeah, dude, good, cool. So
Yeah.
I'm doing Thor one day, and then
I see
Wolverine.
He-Man. Okay, I see
Yeah, I got a
Wolverine
little.
towards. Yeah, I don't know if that's your
I'm,
left
I'm just
shoulder or.
moving out of the way.
Yeah, it's
I'm
all
just
good. I
trying to
see
like do some
Wolverine.
set decoration here. We got some Wolverine, we got some Thor. We're gonna revisit He-Man with hopefully a wig upgrade and some other things. For me, it's
Nice.
I'm gonna sound like a total nerd, but like half of the stuff I usually use, like I want to play this character, one, because it's always scared me before. But like a lot of my cosplay preparation, I try to do like physically in the gym. Um, so this one I'm stressing a little bit because I usually am like every single day, or like planning my meals and doing all that, super into it. But
Yeah.
it's been really tough. I'm facing like a shoulder replacement and like 3 back surgeries just from
Oh
doing
man.
just many shows with gymnastics in it, and a lot of just trauma to my back. So I haven't been able to like prep as well for those, but like it's gonna be so fun. So WonderCon's the next big place that you can see us all there having fun, and hopefully film a bunch of skits with the friends there. But yeah, I'll make sure
Nice.
that's all posted. I appreciate you, like, yeah,
Oh,
give me a
dude.
shout out.
No, not at all. We will see you at
So you're gonna be there all three
WonderCon.
days?
Yeah, yep, should be there all three
Nice,
days.
man.
But, dude, even though you're recovering internally, everything it needs to heal and all that stuff. I don't think there's going to be a single person who's going to know that because I've seen you in character and in the
Appreciate you, brother.
spotlight, speaking Spanish in an interview, or seeing
Oh,
kids
thanks,
run
man.
up to you, and you're like on. When you're on, you're on. Like no one's gonna know. So, dude,
Yeah, appreciate that,
you
man.
are a real life hero in and out of the costume. I'm super happy that you
Thanks,
got
man.
to come on tonight and just chat with me, man. I really, really appreciate it. And we'll make sure to link everything to all your social media out there. And make sure we get, people following you because you're giving back to so many people that really could use this hope. And yeah, man, you're great.
Thanks,
I
man.
just
You
really
too.
appreciate
I
it. So thank you for
appreciate
coming
you as
on.
well. Thank you. Yeah, of
All right.
course, brother. Thank you.
So I'll give you the final words, but before we close this out, we ask all of our guests to say this. You could not say it, you could say it. Hopefully you
Oh,
will.
if the
Yeah,
pressure's on. Okay, yeah. What is it?
totally. All you have to do, again, final words, and all you have to do is say, thanks for sticking it with us.
Ooh, thanks for sticking it with us.
Oh, all right. I love it, Thor. All right. Aloha, everybody. Thanks.
Aloha, my brother.
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.